Equality. Who can tell me Philip Equality? Oh, man. I was going to give somebody $5. This is almost to the end. Here we go. Philip Equality is my dude. I know you know. Philip, all right, check this out. As you can see with all these numbers and stuff, he's a mathematician. He's a native of Nigeria. He lives in Maryland now. This dude was a part of a team of scientists who came up with this idea of networking computers together through phone lines. And they came up with the concept, but they didn't have a mathematical equation that would allow speed to allow information to travel at that speed. Philip Equality is the scientist who created the mathematical equation so that we can have the internet. We post race. Y'all should all know that. We post race. We got a black president. Y'all don't know a black man wrote the mathematical equation for the internet? Y'all, we don't. What we got. See, this is what I'm talking about. This spirit of getting over. Oh, we know enough about black people. Everybody uses the internet, even if they don't want to, even if you resist it. I don't need no computer. Even the most resistant, rigid. Then you kind of be rigid and you tell your niece and nephew, send an email to your auntie. Let me see them pictures on that Facebook thing. That book face. Let me see the pictures on book face. Right? You have to use the internet. He ain't dead, he alive. I always quote people who are alive, like Lasana and Harry White, because black people think black people are everywhere in the grave. No, we're still doing it. This dude, go on the internet, it's so many thousands of pages about Philip Equality. You see speeches that he's doing. You see him at technology conferences. You see him doing cutting edge technology. Right now, to this day. So, those of us, and I'm one of those, who have a hard time in math, use Philip, call on his spirit. Say, Philip, help me with this algebra. Because we can do it. Get it out your mind like you can't do math. Don't let nobody tell you that Joneses ain't good at math. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. And this is Wangari Maathai. She fought. She has a book, autobiography. I can't think of the name right now. Fought like hell in Kenya to reforestation, because a lot of the African continent not only used for its minerals under the ground, people use it for logging and everything else. And she fought and fought and fought, went against the government, fought, got put in jail, all kinds of hell trying to reforest. And then she came up with a program of planting trees, and eventually it caught on, and it actually ignited part of the global sustainability project that you see now. Her name is Wangari Maathai. She's from Kenya. She's a Nobel Peace Prize winner because of her work in sustainability and green. So again, why am I showing her? Because you hear about green and sustainability and technology, but nobody connects it to the African person. Maybe Van Jones. Everybody knows about the work of Van Jones, but not about the history of this whole movement. And this is my good friend Byron Hurts. I put him in here because he's a filmmaker. He has a film called Am I a Man that explores black masculinity. This is his most famous film. It's called Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes. I don't know if you've seen it before, but Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes explores sexism, miscegenation, and homophobia in rap music. And it's a wonderful film. He interviews a whole bunch of rappers and Russell Simmons and women and men, and he just talks about this whole thing and what is our culture teaching about violence and sexuality and things of that nature. And he has a new film coming out called Soul Food Junkies. His name is Byron Hurt. This is Tony Blackman. Tony Blackman is a good friend of mine. She lives in New York City. Tony Blackman was sanctioned, was given the responsibility by the UN to be an ambassador of hip hop. And she was sent to South America, Asia, Africa, and Central America doing workshops, because she's a great freestyle artist. Freestyle is basically when you just stand there and you just go by the inspiration and you just say what's on your mind right at the top. And she taught people how to use verse, how to use poetry, how to use spoken word, how to use rap music to build community and to build positive structure within the community. Rap and hip hop has such a bad rap because we listen to popular radio, and popular radio has just bad music, period. It ain't just rap. And but she was sent out by the UN to go into these various communities and build a positive young identity around conscious rap music. This is Tony Black. This is Ben Carson, the best neurosurgeon in the world at Johns Hopkins University. If you have a problem, you have a child with a problem with their brain, this is the man you want working on it. wonderful film and book named him about Gifted Hands. This is John Conyers. John Conyers is still a congressman in the House from Michigan. The reason why I have John Conyers here is for several reasons, but I'm going to go over a couple of them. There was a lady that lived in Montgomery, Alabama, who was a seamstress. And somebody came one day and told her to get up from her seat, and she said, no, I'm not going to get up from the seat. What was that lady's name? Rosa Parks, absolutely. Not Nicki Minaj. Rosa Parks would not give up her seat. Well, what people don't realize is that her name was Mud. No one would ever hire Rosa Parks for a job, especially in Alabama, let alone anywhere else. He's the only person who gave her a job. That's why Rosa Parks lived the rest of her life and died in Detroit. She worked for John Conyers until she retired. John Conyers is the one who wrote the bill for the Martin Luther King holiday. How many of y'all heard of Martin Luther King holiday? The only thing we know is that Reagan signed it into act. We don't know who wrote the bill. Okay? And he done a whole bunch of stuff around reparations. You know, he put the bill on the floor for reparations for it and via an investigation. It's so much that he's doing. So what I'm trying to tell you is that there's people who work within the construct of the body politic who actually are advocates on our behalf, but we don't even know who they are. We don't even know who they are to support them. Okay? And this is Alice Walker, great humanist. People know her for The Color Purple, but if you read any of her other books, her essays, her speeches, she is a wonderful, beautiful advocate of humanity. She takes medical supplies all over the world. People need them. She's in Palestine doing work. She's in Central America doing work. She's always doing some work in Cuba. You read her works. Her papers are housed at Emory University in Atlanta. You can go to Emory University. I've been there. You ask for the Alice Walker papers. You can see her manuscripts. You can see so much work of this beautiful woman who laid down a legacy for humanity that has been narrowed into this corner of The Color Purple. Just like Martin King is narrowed into the corner of The Dream, but his contribution is so vast, Alice Walker is wonderful. So I would like to end with this slide of Alice Walker and let you know that this issue of location, on how we contextualize who we are, how we contextualize ourselves in humanity, from ancient times all the way to all of these modern people, is going to allow us as a community and allow the greater humanity to benefit once we understand the appropriate way to place this information in the appropriate context why we have Black History Month. Thank you. Yes. At least 3 questions. At least 3 questions. It's great like in the story. That's our work. We follow the picture trail. But to answer your question, is I wouldn't term it as a conspiracy. I just want to give you a context of how humans work. And the way human beings work is that whenever we have an opportunity to have privilege and power, we do. And if you read Walter Rodney's book, the European, come on,
How Europe Underdeveloped Africa.
How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. How Europe Underdeveloped Africa is the beautiful thing about the book is not how he tells you how Europe underdeveloped Africa, but it gives you a timeline of human history. And up until around the Industrial Revolution, pretty much every society lived pretty much at the same access to pretty much everything. And then what you see is that Western Europe had developed the technology and through also mastering what I like to call mass death. Because people always had war, but they mastered how can I kill the largest amount of people in the quickest amount of time in the most vulgar way. And by using that power, what they call military or martial power, and allowing that technology, they were able to go past everyone else. But the reason why they organized themselves as this collective, because if you know the history of Western Europe, they didn't get along, right? You know, it's like the myth that we're told, first of all, that there is a Europe. It's not really a continent, it's just the west side of Asia. They're powerful, they say, they can put a map, put anything they want to, right? You know, they say, oh, we have Greek history, the great Greek philosophers. They didn't like Greek philosophers. What did they do to the Greek philosophers? What did they do to them? You're going to drink this Socrates, and you're going to get exiled, right? Right? If it was Greek philosophy, everybody was like, yeah, this is what we think. This is how we get down. It was foreign, right? So, I say all that to say is that once they were able to organize around an interest, which was to be able to have power and privilege and to get the resources of the world and corner them for themselves, then what happened was they put together this whole thing at a structured institution from various levels to do this. And they had to come up with rationales because no one wants to say, I just want to hurt you. I just want your stuff. So have had to say